the ship has a faint sort of trembling while we're moving when I suddenly realized that it had stopped.
I believe you're right, Barbara. I think we have landed. But the doctor's never slept through a landing before.
Doctor, wake up.
What's the matter? What is it? What is it? Oh, good gracious me. Don't tell me I went off to sleep.
Yes, you did.
Oh.
And at a very critical time. Oh, well, I suppose it did you a world of good.
Deep in the arms of Morpheus, eh, my boy? There, I feel a bit sticky. I'm just going to have a wash.
Oh, but Doctor, the trembling stopped.
Oh, my dear, I'm so glad you're feeling better.
No, not me, the ship.
Oh, my
Doctor,
dear, I'm so sorry.
we appear to have landed while you were sleeping.
What? Oh, I say, I must never allow this sort of thing again now, must we? No. Well, all we have to do is to turn the power off.
Then we have landed.
Yes. Excuse me. Materialized, I think, is the better word. Well, now, let's have a look and see what's doing. Yes, the air's very good. The temperature. Yes, well, wherever we are, I think it's nice and fine. Oh, do pardon me, forgive me, I'm so sorry. Yes. Well, I must say it was most promising. Now, let's have a little look, shall we?
Very dark. Can't really make out anything at all. It looks very rocky, whatever it is.
Yes, it does somewhat. Might be a cave or even perhaps underground.
You mean we could be trapped down here?
Oh, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, my dear Barbara. We can, of course, always travel through solid matter in flight. And again, we can take off again quite easily. No, I do think we ought to step outside and have a look. I will, too. Susan,
Doctor, why don't you show me how to open the doors?
Yes, my dear, of course. Yes. Silly up, yes. Number 4, switch. Very good, very good. You won't, of course, try to do that during transit, will you? Now.
Hey everyone, welcome to an all-new episode of Doctor Who and Mr. Drew. It's your old time-traveling companion, John S. Drew here, and we're entering what would be the first of many new eras for Doctor Who and the entire television series. Susan is gone, left behind on a future Earth that is recovering from its occupation by the Daleks, and the Doctor, even though he's got Susan and Barbara still, seems lost in it all, until they arrive at the planet Dido, that is. The story is called The Rescue. It's a two-parter that took place from January 2nd to January 9th, 1965. It was written by script editor David Whittaker and directed by Christopher Barry. The two episodes are entitled The Powerful Enemy and Desperate Measures. Okay. I need some coffee. This is an interesting little piece, but in the end, it's really only a piece to introduce the new companion. And that's what everyone really should focus on. Vicki went through a number of names as she was being developed for the series, including Tani. I'm glad they didn't go with that. I find it a little too exotic. What's weird is that they were considering that name, but there are stories of how the producers wanted Maureen O'Brien, who played Vicki, to dye her hair black, and so that she'd look a little like Susan. She refused and suggested they just bring back Carol Ann Ford. I like that. I like Vicki. She's not Susan. In fact, the only thing I don't like about Vicki as the series continues is that she is everything Susan should have been right from the start. She's a lot more forceful a character, and when Ian and Barbara leave later in the series, she's able to hold her own with the Doctor and with new companion Steven. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The story is simple enough. Vicki is one of 2 survivors of a spaceship crash on the planet Dido. While they wait for rescue, they are menaced by a native of the planet called Koquilion. The episode has a few notes of interest besides Vicki's entrance to the series. It's the first time the Doctor uses the term materialize to describe how the TARDIS lands. It's also the first planet the Doctor has visited besides Earth. So I'd love to know what that adventure was. I don't know if any of the book lines have actually covered that. There's also the little touches that stand out to me. If you look quick, when the Doctor, Ian, and Barbara step out of the TARDIS, there's an attempt to actually show the interior of the TARDIS from the door. Usually, we just see the inside of the police box, but this was nice. Of course, this was something they're going to go on and do in the new series with the special effects they now have available. Even though this is a Vicki story, our other 2 companions are not out of the loop. Ian gets to be manly as he and the Doctor make their way along the mountain, and Barbara is always there questioning why it is that Koquilion keeps Vicki and Bennett alive when he killed all the others. And then she's the one who suggests laying the trap for Koquilion. Don't know if this was just me, but there seems to be a moment when the Doctor's accent changes at one point towards the end as he tells Vicki to blow her nose and wipe her face. It comes across a bit more Cockney. Speaking of which, I also did like the fact that the Doctor doesn't meet Vicki until the middle of the 2nd episode, and yet he quickly takes a shine to her, invites her to join them at the end in the TARDIS. And speaking of the Doctor, once again, he gets into it with Koquilion. At first he's holding his own, but then he's overpowered, and it looks like the end for him until 2 of the people of Dido come in and send Koquilion over a cliff. Now, overall, it's a fun little story. It's not one I'd immediately put on to watch, but it is essential in terms of the history of the show. It's the first of many changes, and it sets that pace. And I love the ending of the show with the TARDIS going over the cliff. It is memorable now as it was when I first saw the story back in 1987. Now, with this story, story editor David Whitaker will leave. Another change, the first of many for the series. Verity Lambert is soon to leave as well. As I said, it's not a bad little story, but it's not one of the ones that get up there in the high rankings. So it's better than Planet of Giants, though, Keys of Marinus, and the Censorites, which line the bottom, so there's that. So next time, Vicki is taken into the past as she meets Nero in what is the series' first attempt at real comedy. Does it work? Find out when I review The Romans. So until next time, folks, take care.
So there were survivors on Dido. Then it didn't kill them all.
They have their planet back to themselves again. And somehow I don't think they would allow that rescue ship to land.
Well, that isn't why you brought Vicki along with us, is it, Doctor?
No, Chesterton, no, it wasn't the reason. We shall be materializing quite soon. Perhaps we shall be able to get a rest this time. Here we are, safely down.
What's that movement, Doctor? Well, surely you can feel it.
Doctor, what's happening?
No,
Take off again, Doctor.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.